Are you a dull speaker? Do you lead with only your head? Well, that's probably an issue. Welcome, my name is Nikita. I've helped thousands of leaders and entrepreneurs discover their life's purpose and live their dreams. Now, if you're like most leaders, business owners, and entrepreneurs, then most of your speeches, especially if they're long talks, are head and mind based. And what's really missing is the heart. What's really missing is the feeling. You see, most people find it very hard to relate to somebody if it's only based on facts and numbers and figures. Because we actually don't think with just words. We think in pictures. We think and interpret things with feelings. Even if you're just 100% thinker, the truth is there's still a component of feeling, an emotional component that you have attached to numbers, that you have attached to structures and processes. So if you work with a lot of engineers like I do, and a lot of my leaders and entrepreneurs are in the high-tech space, well, they work with a lot of software folks, a lot of programmers, a lot of engineers. And sometimes it can be very difficult for them to communicate. Well, the truth is, numbers only take you so far. What you may want to include in your descriptions are feelings. What feeling do you want to convey and get across when people use your product, when people use your service, when people use your software? See, that's where Steve Jobs was so good at really bridging the gap between engineers and feelers and designers. Because even if you're solving something that seems like a pure engineering problem, the truth is your end users are probably going to get some kind of a feeling out of your service, out of your device, out of your software. So what is the feeling that you want to convey? And when you're able to deliver that in a speech, when you're able to deliver that as part of your keynote, when you're able to deliver that as a set of instructions, I want A and B to work together so that way C, this is the technical result, but this is the feeling result. Whenever you include feelings in your presentations, whenever you include feelings in your language, people will be able to not just understand it, but they'll be able to see it visually. And the visualization comes from the heart. It comes from the feeling that we get. So let's say you're designing a new vehicle and you want it to be really sleek and you want it to be very, very new. You want it to be unlike anything other people have seen before. Well, maybe to the engineers, you're going to say something like this. Hey, I want it to be able to go from 0 to 60 in 1.2 seconds. And when somebody presses on the gas pedal, I want the G-forces to be so strong that they're unable to move from the seat. It's like they're riding a roller coaster. You see, the first portion conveys the number, how fast you want it to go. But the second portion conveys what the client is going to feel, what the end user is going to feel. And now, as an engineer is working on that, on the technical challenges that come up with building such a fast vehicle, they're going to understand that they not only need to design something that is fast and safe, but they're also going to need to design something that gives a feeling of being in a rocket ship. You see, most technical challenges, difficulties, and problems actually need a spice of feeling. So if you're having a hard time communicating with your engineers, if you're having a hard time really getting your ideas across, well, instead of painting by numbers, add some feelings into it. Add what you want them to feel. Add what you want them to envision and how you want the end picture to really not just look, but also come across deeply inside the heart of somebody. Because the truth is, if you can bridge the gap between thinkers and feelers. And not everybody is perfectly down the middle, and not everybody is just hardcore thinker or hardcore feeler. Most people are an amalgam. When you can paint those pictures, you're going to be able to relate to everybody you talk to. The managers are going to understand you, and the engineers are also going to understand you. And the reason for this all comes down to NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. It is literally how we interpret language, how we understand language. Well, 55% of it is actually body language. 55% of what people are taking in from you is coming from your body language. For example, if I just talked like this the whole time, wouldn't this be just a very boring video? No facial emotions, no physical movement at all. Very, very monotone. Yeah, no, it'd be boring. People probably wouldn't be paying attention. And very soon they would just switch on to a different topic in their head. But if you're dynamic, if you have feeling behind what you're saying, then people are much more likely to connect with you. Now, you don't need to go crazy and wave your arms around, but you do need to be right here with the people. You do need to make eye contact. And maybe you're in a group of 10 people, maybe it's 100 people, maybe it's 1,000 people. Well, you can scan the room. And when you see a person looking at you directly in the eyes, lock eyes with them for half a second, just a second. And they will really be more and more connected. So 55% is body language. Now, some of the body language is coming out of just the body, but a lot of it is coming from the face. What kind of facial expressions are you making? If you want to learn more about facial expressions, then do so. It is an incredible art. As a matter of fact, there's 7 emotions that flash across everybody's face at 0.15 of a second. Yeah, 0.15 of a second. That's how fast it is. And if you can learn micro expressions, it will help you read people even that much more. It will help you connect with people even that much more. 38% of what's coming out of my face and what you're interpreting is tonality. For example, I can say, "Man, you're doing a great job," or "Man, you're doing a great job." See, same words, completely different statement, isn't it? The first is praise. The second can be interpreted as even sarcasm or putting somebody down. So you really want to pay attention of not just what is coming out of your body, what you're sending forward, but also how you're saying it. Only 7% of that are the words. That is one of the main reasons we invented emojis. We invented them so that way when we say something that could come across as like maybe not polite or maybe not nice, then we can add an emoji. Maybe you're just a sarcastic person by nature. Maybe you're working with a lot of people that are very sensitive. So you can add emojis to your text to soften the blow. Now, I actually don't recommend being sarcastic in business because that can really hurt you in the long run. So practicing open, clear, concise communication is very important. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And that is one of the reasons you want to practice big speeches in the mirror, because you want to make sure that what's coming out of your mouth, what's showing on your face, and how your body is moving is congruent. You want to make sure that you're aligned. You want to make sure that there's no big gaps or that you're not coming across sarcastic or like a jerk. Thank you for watching. This is Russ Nikita. Remember, stay peaceful. Let's go.